strengthening skilling and encouraging technology adoption through the Udyam ecosystem and a range of schemes and initiatives. As we work toward a future-ready economy under the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, robust digital tools, particularly AI adoption, can help micro and small enterprises expand their commercial horizons, accelerate formalization, and drive sustainable growth. I congratulate Google India and the India SME Forum on the Google Dividend Report, which is a valuable data-rich look at how digital adoption is powering India's MSME sector, unquote. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank Honorable Minister Ma'am in her absence for sending us that beautiful, motivating message. And we will now proceed with the unveiling of the report titled The Google Dividend, developed by Google in collaboration with India SME Forum. This report reflects the growing role of digital platforms, technology, and enabling ecosystems in empowering India's MSMEs, helping them expand the market access, improve visibility, and adopt digital tools. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for doing the honors. Thank you, dignitaries.
On the dais, Atish Kumar Singh, who is Additional Secretary in DPIIT and was earlier in the Ministry of MSME, had been engaging with you very closely. Ma'am Vidya Srinivasan, Vice President, Ads and Commerce, Google, who was flown in here from the Bay Area. Ms. Preeti Lobana, Country Head, Google. Mr. Vinod Kumar, India SME Forum. Other dignitaries from Google as well as from India SME Forum, my friends from the industry, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. So at the outset, let me compliment both the partners, India SME Forum and Google, for bringing up this event for the SME sector in Delhi today. And in fact, when initially Mr. Vinod Kumar came and told me that this is the event we are proposing, I was a little surprised at what has Google to do with the India SME Forum. So I somehow took some time to understand what is this partnership all about. And now as we unveil this report, which Google and SME Forum have worked on together, the insights are actually very interesting. And I can understand, I can appreciate the kind of synergy both these partners share with each other. And interestingly, I also share a different relationship with each of the partners. With SME Forum because of my current assignment as the Secretary Ministry of MSME, and with Google because of my immediate assignment which I held before this as Additional Secretary in the Department of Consumer Affairs, wherein one used to engage with Google very often. So in fact, both the partners are very well known, and but it's interesting to have them organize this event together. So ladies and gentlemen, the topic which they have suggested, which they have planned for today, empowering the Indian MSME sector as the future of Indian commerce. Very apt, because the Indian MSME sector, as has been brought out by speakers before me, contributes almost 1/3 to the country's GDP. It contributes 35% to the manufacturing output, and it is the second largest employer after agriculture. Almost 50% of exports from India are from the MSME sector. So this is the strength this particular sector holds for a country like ours. And Google brings with it a possibility for our SMEs to have it as a onboarding partner for improving its digital footprint. So that is how I look at this partnership. The MSME sector today is the backbone of Indian enterprise, driving manufacturing, services, trade, logistics, retail and exports. It creates livelihoods at scale, strengthens local value chains, and gives shape to the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. As we move towards the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the MSME sector would certainly become the center of that journey. It will be the primary catalyst, it will be the primary growth engine that will let us move towards this vision of ours. The future of Indian commerce will be shaped by millions of micro, small and medium enterprises that produce, process, distribute, innovate and export. Today the sector stands at a moment of both promise and transformation. India's expanding domestic market, growing digital infrastructure, stronger integration with global value chains have created unprecedented opportunities for our MSMEs. At the same time, the sector continues to face challenges in terms of access to finance, delayed payments, technology adoption and market connectivity. Our response therefore is very clear: empowerment and enablement. Ms. Vidya Srinivasan brought out certain structural shifts that are taking place in the commerce sector. I was very happy to hear that e-commerce sector is expected to have a threefold increase in the coming years, particularly in India. And I can relate with this from my experience in the Department of Consumer Affairs, where we were, I wouldn't say regulating, but we were promoting e-commerce also as a part of our domain. And we found that most of the consumers have now started preferring to do their transactions through the e-commerce platforms. While it's very interesting, it gives a lot of variety to the consumers and shoppers, it is also an opportunity for businesses, because after all, these aggregators or integrators have to source their supplies from somewhere. She mentioned a figure of I think 60 million or billion product listings. So that's enormous. So all these products have to come from somewhere. So our SMEs can certainly contribute in this, and they can have enormous potential as far as their business is concerned. From the point of view of MSME, there are two structural changes that have taken place in the last couple of years. One is formalization and the second is tech enablement. A couple of years back, most of our SMEs were operating in the informal sector. Probably, they also had this apprehension that the moment they cross the threshold, get into the framework of a formal ecosystem, there will be a huge compliance burden on them. So it was with this objective that Government of India very recently tried to expand the definition of MSMEs. Today, any enterprise which has an investment of up to 125 crores and a turnover of 500 crores is brought within the ambit of MSME. So such vast definition of MSME, to my knowledge, is not there anywhere else in the world. So the idea was that let these MSMEs scale up, let them grow without unduly getting worried about losing the benefits that were coming to them being part of this particular sector. So many of them who were earlier in the informal sector decided to become part of the formal ecosystem. We have a portal by the name of Udyam. Most of you must be already members on that portal. So the number was 1.6 crores 4 years back, and today we are at 8.8 crores. A five-fold increase in 4 years was something which you all have supported, and we have been able to reach this number. So when we 8.8 crores is not a mean number. 80 million, about almost 90 million. When we convey to our friends outside in other countries, 90 million small scale enterprises in India, it is unmatchable. You won't find these kind of numbers anywhere else in the world. The second thing that has happened is most of our SMEs are now becoming tech enabled. But there again, there's a long way to go, and I think we'll discuss that today as a part of this deliberation. But we have tried to provide them more and more access to credit, so that they can technology is not beyond their means only because of the finance part. So access to credit, access to finance is something which we had been focused on. We came out with this scheme called Credit Guarantee Scheme for micro and small enterprises, though the scheme had been launched a couple of years back, but we gave guarantees worth 14 lakh crore of rupees from the Indian government, and that has increased the credit flow to the MSME sector. The credit flow to MSME sector about 10 years back was just about 10 lakh crores. Today it stands at 37 lakh crores, an increase of almost 300%, an increase of 300% in a short period of 10 years. So this is what has brought finance reachable to the MSME sector. But just as debt financing would not be all enough by itself, we also tried to work towards equity financing, and that is when this Self-Reliant India Fund was set up. 10,000 crores was given by Government of India, and 40,000 crores was leveraged from the private venture capital funding. So with this kitty of 50,000 crore, a lot of high potential MSMEs were given equity support. So this enabled many of our SMEs to also scale up, because they had access to debt and they also got some equity infusion with the help of this fund, and they were in a position to have success stories built from their own examples. We have also tried to strengthen the ecosystem in the form of addressing the issue of delayed payments. Now, again, here India SME Forum is a body only of the SME sector, but many a times when we also engage with associations like CII, FICCI, PhD chambers, that's what I tell them. I said, your members are the bigger players as well as the SMEs. So to ensure that the SMEs get their payments in time, you need to discipline the bigger players who are again your members only. So perhaps that kind of discipline has to come in, because for any SME, the major problem which he faces is working capital and a smooth cash flow. As soon as as soon as they start realizing that their payments are getting locked for months together, there are delays sometimes of beyond the stipulated period. So then their entire liquidity cycle gets impacted. They are not in a position to go forward with their business. So with that objective, Government of India has been giving a lot of thrust to this platform called TREADS, in which invoice discounting is carried out. And very recently we have tried to dovetail the TREADS platform with the government e-marketplace, because most of the procurement which is being done by the government as public procurement is done through the CPSEs. Now this is done through the portal called GEM. Now we have tried to link up TREADS with GEM also in the current year, so that whatever invoices are raised are available for invoice discounting on the TREADS platform. I would also like to share with my SME friends here that very recently on the 30th of June, we have also made it mandatory for all the CPSEs to have every transaction recorded through the TREADS platform. Earlier we had all CPSEs onboarded onto the TREADS platform. Now 30th of June it has been made mandatory for all the CPSEs to have every invoice through the TREADS platform, so that these payments do not get delayed. And as far as government sector is concerned, it is being monitored very closely, but still within the private sector there is a need to have more discipline. We keep nudging the bigger players in the industry that please don't delay the payments to the SMEs when it falls due, so that this cycle is maintained. The ministry is also strengthening the ecosystem through the cluster development program, through entrepreneurship skill development program, through procurement and marketing support, international cooperation, technology centers and MSME champions. The idea is that we should be in a position to develop our MSME sector in the form of champions, and this is a three-pronged strategy. The first focus is on quality. Our Honorable Prime Minister gave the slogan of zero defect, zero effect. We have been wanting that most of our SMEs also adhere to quality standards, such global quality standards, so that their products can easily sell in the global markets, and this also brings minimal damage to the environment. The second is being competitive, for which it's important to improve productivity. So we are focused on having lean manufacturing practices adopted on the shop floor by the SMEs. This would automatically bring in more efficiency, better productivity and more efficient practices. The third component is innovative, which again looks at incubation support, design support and the IPR support. And in fact, on all these three components we have a lot of synergy with DPIIT, because DPIIT brought in the concept of Startup India. Startup India was a great success a couple of years back when it was started off, and now we want those startups to organically grow into small enterprises, medium enterprises, and then become bigger to have a role play in the global market. So just as government is creating a framework, the industry has to convert this opportunity into outcomes. So there's a partnership with the industry also. Industry has a very vital role to play. Large enterprises need to deepen vendor development, integrate MSMEs into the supply chain. Financial institutions have to design products that reflect the realities of small businesses. Technology partners can help MSMEs adopt digital tools, data systems, and e-commerce platforms. Industry bodies can support quality improvement, branding, export readiness, and business networking. When the entire ecosystem works together, the MSMEs that are able to scale, modernize, and compete with the bigger players. We must also recognize that MSMEs are the most innovative and resilient part of our economy. We have seen shocks like the COVID pandemic. We saw the West Asia crisis. If it was one sector of the Indian economy which showed such good resilience even in such testing times, I would say it was the MSME sector in India, which stood up very well. The government did come up with support like the emergency credit line guarantee scheme, but I would say it goes to the credit of the MSME sector that they had fairly robust and resilient systems to sustain themselves. Going forward, we want to link our MSMEs with the global value chains. This could be either in the form of becoming vendors to our PLI champions. There's a production linked incentive scheme that has been rolled out in almost 14 sectors. The idea is that our bigger players in India become producers for the world, so they are being developed as champions. So but they have to source their supplies from smaller companies, the components. So maybe as tier 2 and tier 3 vendors, we need to integrate our MSMEs into the value chain of these champions. 2, the capacity building of the MSME themselves in terms of quality, packaging, design, and market development. Here again, AI, we just talked about, has a very important role to play. We recently hosted the India AI Impact Summit in India. We had almost all players from all over the world here. And we did realize that there are enormous number of potential AI use cases that could be adopted in all the sectors. Most of the industries have also started working on possibilities, and different ministries and departments have also come up with certain problem statements to which our MSMEs are very forthcoming in finding the right solutions. But the role of AI would be actually transformation. There's a lot of capability building that needs to be done for the MSMEs as far as AI adoption is concerned. That from our ministry, we certainly put in our very best, but we would also look up to companies like Google to come forward in this particular role on how to make our MSMEs more tech enabled. How are they able to make good use of AI and even other advanced technologies today? Because this is, it's not just a disruptor, it is almost a business imperative. Going forward, no business would be able to survive without, depending on these technology tools. So we all must need to appreciate that. Thirdly, our system should make it simpler for smaller enterprises to formalize, to expand, and to compete. For which, our idea is that they should have all kinds of support to be able to scale up. We must also ensure that this growth is broad-based. Women-led enterprises today constitute 39% of the total enterprises on the portal. And going forward, we should certainly reach a figure of 50%. That is what we should aspire. The rural entrepreneurs, first generation business owners, businesses in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. These success stories cannot be confined only to Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. We need to have tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And I feel very proud in saying so, that when we look at the profile of those people who are registered on the Udyam portal, there's a very substantial mix of the profile of these entrepreneurs who are now coming up from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We all need to participate fully in India's commerce story. If commerce is to reflect the ambition of Bharat, then opportunity must travel to all these cities. India's MSMEs are ready to do more. They are ready to digitize, export, innovate, and grow. What they need is a stronger ecosystem, one that opens doors to scaling. Let us therefore build a future where MSMEs are seen as the most dynamic force Let us build a commerce system where small businesses can grow into strong businesses can become global businesses. If we do this, we'll not only strengthen MSMEs, we'll strengthen India's competitiveness, India's employment base, and India's future as a commercial power. An empowered MSME sector is not only the future of Indian commerce, it is the foundation of a self-reliant, inclusive, and globally competitive India. So with these words, let me compliment the India SME Forum and Google once again for having conceptualized this platform to bring the industry together for this very contemporary and pertinent topic. And I'm sure this partnership would give an opportunity to all the members to take this forward. And for Google, I must say India is a market which you would not find anywhere else in the world. So perhaps, this is your platform to be able to take full support from our MSMEs. So with these words, I wish this summit all the very best. Thank you.
Sir, for your insightful remarks and for sharing the government's vision towards empowering the MSMEs as key drivers of India's economic growth. And ladies and gentlemen, with that we close the proceedings of our inaugural session and would like to move into a brief dialogue on empowering the Bharat's MSMEs, the future of Indian commerce. May I kindly request Ms. Vidya Srinivasan and Ms. Preeti Lubana to kindly take their seats.